what speaking of flow and writing, I mean, what do you, I think that, I admire your writing because it's a reflection of clear thinking. And I'm wondering what you see as the most common mistakes that writers make. What are some of the most common mistakes where you write for quite a few outlets online, and you're really prolific. You write a lot more than I do, and I'm envious in a way of your output. What are the biggest mistakes that you see writers making? Not professionally necessarily,
Sure.
but just like stylistically, editorially. What are some of the bigger mistakes, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think it's weird. I write a lot, but I think I write a lot out of humility. Like, I'm trying to get better, and I think that the only way you do it is by making commitments to write a lot, publishing, and sort of getting feedback.
Yeah.
And like, so I 3 books in 3 or 4 years is a lot, but plenty of people do more. The articles are designed to make the books better. That's the way that I think about it.
Right.
But I think a couple mistakes that writers make. One, they don't have anything to say. They think that writing is good. Like they think that writing is the skill that is scarce and good. Like putting sentences and words together
Right.
is good. It's like, look, I would read a biography written by someone with like a 7th grade education if what they were talking about was fascinating. Like I'm like, have you ever seen that thing where it's like they take a bunch of sentences and they take all the vowels out, or they move the words around,
right, and you can still
read it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the technical skill that's rare. It's having something interesting and compelling to say. So I think that's the big thing, is people don't have that much to say, and they focus all their time on technical writing rather than like saying something that's never been said before.
Yeah.
This maybe ties into that, but I see a lot of writers who start writing before they've figured out exactly what they plan to say and who they're saying it for. Like they're trying to find the point while they're going.
Right.
And so I use note cards to organize my research, and like I very rarely write anything that isn't fully outlined and sketched out, especially books. So the writing is the easy part. Figuring out what you have to say and doing the research and bringing something new to the table, that's what's special and rare. Mm-hmm. So I try to, I focus my energy on finding the stories or the thing that I'm bringing to the table that no one else but me could bring. Mm-hmm. And I think far too many writers skip that. And that's why we get these crappy bulleted lists, or, on the other hand, like an 8,000 word article that like could have been 20% of the length. And so I think those are mistakes that writers make a lot. I think also just not being honest. I think a lot of people are either pretending and like puffing themselves up with their writing,
right,
or they're hiding something. Like James Altucher, who we both know.
I was just going to mention James. He's so good at doing the opposite.
Yeah, he has this rule where he writes the thing that he doesn't want anyone to know about himself. Like whatever he's afraid to say, that's what he wants to write an article about. And look, sometimes that ends disastrously and he gets in trouble, but most of the time it creates this vulnerable, authentic voice that people relate to because no one else is saying these things. And that's what your job as a writer is, to touch something inside of the audience, and you can't do that if you're lying to yourself.
Yeah. No, definitely.